Let's talk about how to pass the Deutsche Bank first round higher view video interview. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job in English. If you don't already know me, I've been helping the best professionals and graduates get into jobs at some of the world's best. No. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job in English. If you don't already know me, I help people to get hired through simple videos about application processes for world famous companies and breaking down the systems that you have to go through to pass them. Today we're going to be talking about the largest German bank, Deutsche Bank, and how to pass their first round video interview. I'm going to start off with some fast facts about Deutsche Bank from the 2023 annual report, which you can use in your answer to why do you want to work for Deutsche Bank. Then we're going to talk about the interview process that you can expect. And finally, I'm going to go through some common questions that you can expect during your Deutsche Bank high view video interview and how to think about answering those questions. Let's get into it. In 2023, Deutsche Bank earned a net profit of 5 billion euros. Deutsche Bank's financial and insurance activities totaled over 360 billion euros. The bank's goal is to have 35% of women in senior management positions by 2026. And currently 28% of directors are female. Over 11,000 staff are owners of the bank and have taken part in the bank's share purchase scheme. In 2023, Deutsche Bank wanted to increase retaining internal talent and fulfilled a third of its vacancies from inside the company. Interestingly, most vacancies were open for up to 89 days. So what can you expect from Deutsche Bank's video interview process? Pretty simple, it's quite straightforward. A lot of people did talk about the fact that the online tests were quite challenging, but essentially the whole process is automated all the way up into the assessment center. So you can expect a higher view video interview, which is a one-way video interview. The questions come up on the screen, you get a certain amount of time to answer and a certain amount of time to prepare. Now for Deutsche Bank, people said there was anywhere between 3 to 6 questions. And most people tend to say that there was 3 or 4, which is a mixture of motivational questions, competency questions, and possibly a little bit of commercial awareness. You get 2 minutes to answer that question. If you're wondering how long this is in terms of a script, it's about 200 words, and there was no chance for you to redo your answer. So I want to go through 7 questions that were either common or interesting and worth talking about. Something I would say is Deutsche Bank is a pretty straightforward process. If you haven't already downloaded it, make sure you check out Application Success Secrets down in the link in the description below. It's completely free and it gives you all the templates that you need to pass your first, next or last interview. I highly recommend that you practice from the 28 most common interview questions and you use the worksheet for why this company and why this role. Question number 1, why do you want to work for Deutsche Bank? Now I picked out 5 or 6 key facts from Deutsche Bank's annual report from 2023, which is a weighty tome, coming in at quite a magnificent 516 pages. However, a good shortcut for this is simply just to upload it to ChatGPT and ask it to pull out some facts. With AI, there's really no excuse for presenting generic facts about a business. One thing that you do want to avoid doing is say, I want to work for Deutsche Bank because it's really big and it would be amazing and I'd get to really meet great people. And like, here's a rule of thumb. If you can say this about another bank, it's not specific enough. So picking out 5 or 6 facts, and if you really want to level up your answer, then maybe find a fact that relates to you, whether it be to do with diversity, ethnicity, ESG, charitable work, awards, just something that you can speak on and to say that it resonates with you. Question number 2, why do you want to do this job? This was also a derivative of why you're interested in this division or what division interests you. Now, really importantly, a common mistake that I see with this question is that people will spend the whole of the 2 minutes just talking about themselves. Now, what you've got to understand about the higher view interview process and any video interview process is that an algorithm or piece of software will take your audio, make it into text, and then analyze the text. When they're analyzing the text, they're looking for particular keywords, phrases that are relevant to the job description that you are applying to. So answering this question, first of all, what you want to do is explain what you're going to do in the job. What would you do as a finance analyst? What would you do in risk? What would you do as a quant? What would you do in sales and trading? This is really going to help with the algorithm. The second part part of the answer is basically talking about 2 or 3 key skills with evidence which demonstrate that you have the skills that are relevant for the role. Now, if you find that the job description is not particularly helpful or is very salesy but very brief about what you'd have to do, then just Google the job description. If you're in the UK, you can use a website which is a favourite of mine, which is prospects.ac.uk, to find an in-depth description of what you will do and what skills you will need. Question number 3, tell me about a recent piece of business news. Now, recently in my Ask Mike segment, somebody asked me about how to keep up with business news, keep up with industry news. It couldn't be simpler. All you've got to do is choose the division that you're wanting to work in. So say, for example, it's risk. So then you would type into Google risk industry news and sign up to a website or two. Now, the chances are pretty good they'll have a weekly newsletter which you can get and then condense all of the things that you want to learn and keep up to date with what's going on within that industry. Now, bearing in mind, banks are not the only companies that want you to know about what's going on in the industry. Technology is also really important, more and more so, and you will find questions that also relate to a technology that is being used, or maybe something that other people have missed that you think is quite relevant or helpful to their client. Now, one thing to add with this is that you don't need to be reading the business news every day. You don't need to read the Financial Times. You don't need to have a monthly subscription to The Economist, but you should be paying some sort of attention and read or digest that news in whatever way you find it easiest. You might find it easiest to digest little sound bites through TikTok and then go off and read about it. You might like a newsletter, you might like a Substack, you might like Twitter, but whatever it is, just make sure it is easy for you to understand. And when you're picking a piece of business news, make sure it's micro and not macro. Choose a company, a small event, a regulatory change. Don't choose a macroeconomic event like the US-China trade war, because you're really going to struggle to talk about that in 2 minutes. Question number 4, how would you describe your work ethic? Now, there's another question that I'm going to go through, which is a situational based question, because it's good to think about how do we answer these questions. Now, answering strength and SJT questions is something I cover in quite a lot of depth in our interview success secrets course, but it's really pretty simple. You can still use a star-based format to answer a strength question, but you need to give a direct response first. For example, with this, you could say, I describe my work ethic as very good and I don't leave until I get the job done. An example of this and my great work ethic is, and then all of a sudden it becomes a competency question, but you just need to answer it directly at first. Question number 5, what is the share price of the bank right now? This is a great question. It was today €16.21. But the fact of the matter is, if you're applying for a middle or a front office role, you should be prepared to answer questions around more in-depth banking things. Does that make sense? So, what's a share that you'd like to trade at the minute? What's a piece of news that you think is going to have a deep effect on our clients? You want to think as if you are already working within that industry, within the role, because banks are quite aware that a lot of people are attracted to working for them because they pay a lot of money. But what they want is people who have an interest in the market and, more importantly, have come prepared to the interview. And this is a good example from this type of question. Question 6. When working in a team of graduates to prepare a presentation for your manager, one day one of the graduates is ill. How would you decipher what to do if you are not expecting to get the task done on time? So this is a great situational question. I quite like questions with, unexpected events or unexpected outcomes, particularly if you're under the gun and then someone's sick or they're not doing their job. The obvious way to kind of look at this, say, well, first of all, I would contact all the members of my team, ask them to sit down for a meeting, say, look, Fred's ill. Fred was doing the financial analysis for company A. Have we done this for B and C? We have. Cool. Who can take Fred's work? We've got to complete this within 3 days. I'm also going to take on the lion's share of the work because I want to demonstrate good leadership ability and lead from the front. Very difficult to stay motivated by somebody who works less than you. Generally, people are motivated by leaders who appear to work harder than them and are almost mythical in their abilities to do this. This is a little bit of a nod to Robert Greene. The 49 Laws of Power? Great book, by the way. But, really just saying that you're going to grab it by the throat, try and do the very best that you can, get the work done and motivate the team to also get that work done. Question number 7, give me an example when you worked well in a team. This is a standard competency question using a star-based approach to answer it. Situation, task, action, result. Where were you? Situation. What were you doing? Task. Action. What did you do? And result. How did you achieve a good thing? Now, the really important thing with this is, number 1, the majority of your answer should be based around the action. Number 2, mention your teammates and specifics. It's really hard to tell a good story if you're just vaguely talking about your teammates, your co-worker, this project. Try to be as specific as possible and to give it some detail and give a clear result. And also make sure when you're talking about teamwork, you're not just talking about all the stuff that you did, but how the team worked really well together. Nobody likes a blowhard. Nobody likes somebody who's arrogant, says, oh, I can't believe I did it, when actually they were working with 7 other people. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I wanted to go for a little bit of a shorter format for you with Deutsche Bank because I think it's a little bit simpler. If this video has been helpful, please drop me a comment down below. It really helps us and it helps more people find the channel. Let us know if you've got an interview coming up, how your interview went, or what company you'd like me to cover next. Bye.